ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football, episode number 49.
James Forrest.
Hey! I'm not going to lie, I didn't think of James Forrest. I was in my mind going, who wears 49? Forrest has worn it for the last, 10 years?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else who's worn 49.
But we're back, and we're back under new conditions because it is lockdown, Davy boy. That's another month.
Can't be arsed, man.
It's just, I'm wearing a suitable shirt. You like it?
It's nice, huh? You got you that again?
It was my good mate Callum. Shout out to Callum. Callum Thorpe. What a man.
Aye.
But we're back in lockdown, which means that we'll probably not be seeing Kieran and Callum in the flesh.
Or Div
in the flesh anytime soon. We won't be, having the same.
We might do something. We'll work around it. We might have to do a few streams.
I think there's streams and such. Of course, we could still do podcasts in the old-fashioned way through Zoom.
But I can't really be asked for that.
And it's turned the world upside down. But the thing is, elite sport will continue, David. Football will go on.
So you're buzzing about that. Null and void.
Exactly.
Null and void, isn't
mate. The league should be done. There's people dying out there.
It's more important than football. Null and void.
No, but look, in all seriousness, it's a big difference from the first lockdown where we had nothing. We had no football, and we both know how much it affected. It was terrible without football. So I'm very happy this time football will go round. However, there is still always controversy to talk about. There is still always news and gossip to talk about. We're going to be in for a good one here on TSF 49.
I didn't think that I thought the lack of a winter break would mean that Dubai wasn't going to be a factor this season.
No.
There goes
but
that.
We're still away, Enjoy Big Shane Duffy with his Club Super King.
Well, he's back, isn't he?
He's back. He had his Club Super King while he could. Brown and Lenny having a pint. We may as well kick off the show with it. Let's start.
Well, I haven't spoken about Saturday yet.
Oh, no, you've no, aye.
No, you've done plenty of content.
I know, I don't really need to speak. My opinion's been out there in the open. I've podcasted.
Well, I mean, the only opinion I've got that's controversial, and I know people are going to agree with me because I've seen it on Twitter, but I just think they're so wrong. Barca should do more for the goal for me.
You're joking.
Doesn't move his feet. Have you ever seen a goalie dive standing still?
It's an actual agenda.
He should get closer to it, definitely. Alan McGregor, Craig Gordon, Fraser Forster all save that.
No, they don't.
They do.
No, they don't.
He's standing like this, right? And he dives on the spot. He doesn't move his feet.
What is it?
The ball's not going fast. See when you look at the point that it crosses the line, it's nowhere near the corner.
The ball actually came off his own teammate,
which takes the pace off it, incidentally. It's not going that fast. And he dives standing still. If you're any top goalie, right, the first thing you do is you move your feet. He doesn't move his feet. He just stands still and dives. He's never saving it. I think it's a genuine agenda. He should definitely get a lot closer.
I think that if he anticipates the ball coming to him from an opposition player or something, there's a genuine shot and goal. Fair enough.
If it smashed off and went flying in, which it doesn't.
It's glided off McGregor.
Glided. That's the whole point. It's like watching it in slow motion when it goes in. And Barkas just dives on the spot. No, all he needs to do is move his feet and jump. Look, he doesn't move his feet.
I have been as big a critic. I have been as big a critic on Barkas as the rest of them. I have said that we would be better off with an amputee between the sticks.
Al McGregor saves that.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I don't think many keepers saves that. You might get your Manuel Neuers or your Iker Casillas.
But this is the other thing, right? Because Barkas is yet to make a big save.
He made up until that moment on Sunday he was having a cracking
but he's still
game.
Not made a big save in a Celtic shirt, which is the telling thing.
Dude, how many chances he had to make a big save in the Celtic shirt?
But the whole point of big saves, what Fraser Forster did, he would save things you didn't expect him to save. How many times did Fraser Forster make saves that you're like, how the fuck did he save that?
Plenty.
All the time.
Tons, absolutely.
Al McGregor had 2 or 3 on Saturday where you're like, how did he save that? I just don't
see in any world where the position that the ball comes from,
his position,
the positions of all the players in the area.
He doesn't move, he stands still. Why doesn't he move?
And ultimately, there should be a defender covering his back post. What has happened to the modern game of football? What has happened to having players on the post?
But you're saying that, right? But see when it crosses the line, it's nowhere fucking near the back post.
Okay, someone could have came off the back post and got to that.
So someone in the back post can move across to get
you're
the ball.
Going to use this
the Barkas can't move across to save it.
Very fair point. Very, very, very fair point. But look, for me, there is an absolute agenda being built up against me.
How? He's not done anything good.
But he's not done anything horrendously bad.
Are you having a laugh?
He's been
I've not saved a ball
very,
ever.
very poor, right? But he's not had an absolute howler yet.
Well, anyway, we'll leave that aside because I know people.
I
know quite a few are agreeing with me on this, but
I know a few on both sides.
But anyway, I thought Saturday was just telling the difference in terms of having a top goalie. Shows the difference.
It does. It really does. Alan McGregor.
That saves world class.
Alan McGregor, we all know, is over the course of his career has been an upper echelon goalkeeper.
I keep thinking he's kind of peaked and gone over the hill.
He's not. That's a mad thing. I always keep having the argument. Remember, we had this exact conversation with Dave, and we were talking about how that taking a 10-year younger McGregor over McGregor now. But when you look at it, there's really no difference because he's been consistently class throughout his whole career. Yeah, so hats off to Alan McGregor. He potentially won the game for Rangers at the weekend.
I haven't even heard what you thought about the red card. Wasn't spoken about.
It's an absolute red card.
Thank you.
It's a red card every day of the week. It's nice to see you watch my videos, mate. I
don't watch anyone's videos. Apart
nice,
from
mate.
Marley 30th, if Marley's watching.
No, look, it's a red card every single day of the week. And there's a few things leading to that really annoys me. So first of all, the gap between Ayr and Beaton. What are you playing at, man? You could get 5 double-decker buses through there.
What happens when you have midfielders playing centre half.
Yep, exactly. So you've got the gap first of all between Ayr and Beaton, which should never have existed. It's it's huge.
Laxal's in no man's land.
Laxal's in no man's land, of course. Beaton should never have to give the referee that decision to make because the angle and everything that's being played. Look, everybody said it. It doesn't take an Einstein to figure this out. If you give Morelos that chance on goal,
he's missing it.
He's missing it. He is. He's got to miss it.
Well, listen, but that's irrelevant. It's still a clear goal scoring opportunity.
Games now is that? But you're right. Of course, the fact that he could have been through on goal and he's been brought down makes it a clear as day red card. If the shoot and Neil Lennon coming out after the game, I'm sorry. Look, I know you're a Celtic manager, and I know that you can't come out after the game and basically say, he's got to stick up for his guys. He's a Celtic manager at the end of the day, but he's hiding away from every single thing this season. He knows it's a red card, and he's coming out and he's shoehorning the referee.
Of course. But this is the mad thing. Neil Lennon won the tactical battle on Saturday, which I never ever thought ever was going to happen. Mm-hmm. He absolutely won the tactical battle.
No, it's not the first time. We'd done it that time. We won 2-0 at Ibrox, to be fair.
Yeah, but Rangers were fucking hopeless that day. But yeah, he just the goal comes from how well they were doing. So they're pressing high, winning the ball back. They go to do that again, and it's the same thing you see with Liverpool all the time. As soon as someone beats the press, you're in trouble. Aye. And Beaton makes that challenge. It's a midfielder's challenge because in the middle of the park you can get away with that and get a booking, but you can't where he is. But once it goes 1-0. Celtic still. There was a couple of chances where Elyounoussi could have been in, and
if the shoe was on the other foot for that, if it was Edouard who was pulled down, Neil Lennon would be screaming and shouting for a red card. That is the reality.
I thought the change was wrong, keeping Edouard on.
I think all the changes were wrong from
Griffiths was brilliant.
From the red card,
McGregor was brilliant. Turnbull was brilliant.
I think from the red card onwards, everything tactically that we kind of aced in that game went to shit. Mostly for the fact you look at, and yes, I understand. I said this in my video. I understand you go down to 10 men. You have to be a bit more defensively. You've got to look out for what you're doing. You've got to make sure you've got the right amount of players in the park and such. Everything around there. But you're taking off Turnbull and Griffiths and bringing on Duffy and was it El Ahmed?
Yeah.
Oh my God Almighty.
Well, he's got this thing in his head now where Frimpong's a winger. Like he's done that so much.
You've got to chase the game, man. And he knows that the league title is on the line.
That just struck me as a guy who knows that his job didn't depend on that game.
No.
If he knew fine well he was getting sacked after that, he wouldn't have made those changes.
He'd have thrown the kitchen sink.
Exactly.
He would have brought on.
But he knows he's
safe. He would have brought on.
He'd have been told before that game he was safe, without a doubt.
Aye. Oh no, it's a well. And I've just made my video there. It's not up yet, so this is a kind of exclusive point that I'm bringing from my video. This plan from Dermot Desmond and Peter Law and the Celtic board in regards to Neil Lennon has been so well calculated. It deserves a bloody Oscar for the script writing, man, honestly. It is unbelievably good. Because they knew fine well that people would get hung up and all the rest of it, and it would get to the new year and we'd be in this position. And they could turn around and go, look, it's too late now, why bother? It's so well calculated, and for that, Mr. Desmond, I applaud you, because it is George Lucas levels of script. That is actually very poor script writing.
We'll come on to the off-the-field Celtic stuff, because there's a lot more to talk about, but quickly, just on the game again. From a Rangers point of view, that's the side of champions, isn't it? Playing passion, winning.
It's the exact Rangers have flipped the coin right on its head. You look at it a few years ago, Celtic could play their poorest and they would still beat Rangers, and it was the sign of champions. Rangers are doing that now, and they'll quite rightly go on to win the league title this
season. The game where Morelos got sent off and Rangers went down to 10, they were like the better team with 10 men for ages, and Celtic, like Forrest scored the winner that day.
No, it was Edouard that scored the winner.
Well, yeah, so was it
the curler at Ibrox 3-2?
No, I'm thinking that was like 3 years ago.
The
one where Morelos got sent off the elbow, Forrest scored the winner.
Aye, that was right. Aye.
So, but Rangers were really good that day. So it's just you can see the sort of flip between two.
Was it in Cham?
I'm sure it was Forrest.
I think it was Forrest. I'm just thinking.
Tavernier gave it away to Edouard.
That's right.
So, and just looking at the way Gerrard conducted himself, I thought you can see the progression in Gerrard constantly. in games he's won in the past in Old Firms, he's given it the big one full time. He's coming out, making these claims and all the rest of it. The over the top celebrations. Saturday, no real celebrations from him. Did his interview, really measured and composed. The growth in him as a manager is clear as day, and it's just coming down to the fact that if he does go on to win the league title, which looks like he will, he'll go and get a big job down south.
So? Yeah. How big a job we talking?
If Rodgers left Leicester,
Hull City.
No. Well, listen, Lampard got the Chelsea job.
Yep.
Without doing
anything
near as what Gerrard achieved.
So,
listen, and it just also, we're talking about look, Brendan Rodgers was an example of this. It'll make Scottish football look like an attractive proposition for these young managers who are wanting to make the win the game, which is only good for us long term. But yeah, from a Rangers point of view, they've got to be loving that up. No pun intended.
Yeah, but it's all but it's basically over. I mean, the fat lady hasn't quite signed. Sybil's still in the wings.
It was over a month ago, man. Yeah, it's done now.
But
if they'd have won that, having performed the way that they did do for the majority of the game, to then get the 3 points, then there's a title race. That's how close we were, because I still think Rangers would have won it, but we were almost at the point where there was a real race on, because if Celtic had gone to Ibrox, won and played really, really well and dominated Rangers, that would have been the whole mentality shift could have been huge. But
what is your thoughts? Because me and Kieran and Callum had a conversation about it the other day, but just to very quickly wrap up the conversation from the game of the weekend, what would be your thoughts towards the optimists who still believe Celtic have a chance in this race?
I've not got a chance, mate. Because how we've been saying all season that we're expecting Rangers blip.
Yep.
I think we've seen it.
I've
seen the last 3-4 weeks.
The loss to St Mirren.
Yeah, and even the winning games and playing. Yeah.
Motherwell.
Dundee United, they weren't great.
Dundee United. Now Celtic. This could be.
I think this is the blip, and they're still getting through it, which is the difference. We've seen Celtic in recent years have poor performances and get results, and that's why they win the titles. Rangers have had not great performances. Even the game against St Mirren where they won, they didn't start very well. Still get 3 points.
Can't argue that.
So I don't think they might lose a couple of games, but they need to lose 5 at least, which is not going to happen. They might lose 5 over the next 2 seasons. I'm joking, but no, this just not happening. Sorry, but you want me to give you a bit of hope there?
No,
you came to the wrong
fucking
person.
If you think there's any chance of installing hope in me, I am nothing but a shadow of myself, mate. That's all I'm at. But that was a result, of course. 1-0 Rangers.
We'll fly through the rest of the games, then we'll come to Dubai.
Yeah. We off as well, eh?
Well, we're off as well. I fucking wish.
Right, so we'll head over to the second game of the weekend, which was Ross County St Johnstone, which ended 1-0. Big Yogi getting a very well fought point, considering that St Johnstone have been a difficult team to master this season. Ross County did take the lead. Only minutes later they give away a penalty. It will be disappointing, but look, I don't think that if you offered John Hughes the opener he's had to Ross County, he'd be chuffed.
And also, they're still bottom of the league, but it's looking a lot more bright for them now, considering they're starting to play well, starting to get results. There's that bit of hope there that they didn't have maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So yeah, a point is a decent result for County. For St Johnstone, they're just going to do more of the same. I think St Johnstone will be mid-table.
What's happened to Hibs, mate? Hibs 0, Livy 3.
I mean,
what a run of form Livy's on, first of all. You've got to acknowledge that. But Hibs
6 wins in a row, 7 in a row?
Yep.
Can't remember, something like that.
Hibs have bottled it, man.
Well, it's what the fear has been all season. I think at the start of the season I said Hibs would finish third, changed that prediction like 3 or 4 weeks later because of this reason. Hibs have just, they're just bottle jobs when it matters. It's like such a Hibs thing, isn't it? I mean, Hibs that was such a phrase for so long. And Livy now, I've got to be thinking, we can break into that top 4.
They can. Look,
I know. 2 games in hand. The point gap is huge, but there's 2 games in hand there.
Look, they win their 2 games in hand. They're 3 points behind Aberdeen at the minute. Hibs at the minute. So that is madness. The fact that you look at the point they were at.
Lots were tipping Livy for relegation 2 months ago.
Oh, exactly. And now look, fair play to Martindale.
Yeah, what a job he's done.
A great job.
And it's a perfect example of promoting in-house. You've got guys who work at clubs for so long, do the sort of the shift behind the scenes, and they know
the team.
He obviously, and I think the large part of it is he's obviously well liked with the players, and we've said it for so long. Yes, they lost their stars in the summer. Dykes, they lost. Who else did they lose? Lawless was the other one.
And over the last couple of years, you go back, you look at Gallagher, you look at Kelly.
There's been so many. So they've got that core still there behind it, like Robinson, Guthrie, Pittman, Josh Mullen, who came back in the summer, was there previously. Mm-hmm. So these guys who know what it's like to overachieve at Livy, with a guy who they know been worked with before and get on with, and it's a perfect storm for them just now.
On the flip side of that, Hibs are in a little bit of a rut. Jack Ross has now lost 3 league games in the bounce. He looks as though he's losing his mojo because they weren't good at all against Livingston. That's the thing. It's not like it was one of those games where you could say the scoreline flattered Livingston. No, Livingston were all over them. They dominated the game.
Well, I mean, Deutsch came back in and I thought that would be the difference maker back from suspension, but just nothing. And they've got 2 strikers who score goals, but if they're not creating for them, they're going to struggle.
And another team who's been struggling as of late and go on to struggle despite a managerial change. Hamilton 3, Motherwell.
Fair play, Brian Rice.
You love big Brian Rice.
No, listen, everyone in the country was like, I don't know how he didn't get sacked after the Betfred Cup results they had. Don't know how he didn't get sacked. And the drubbing at Ibrox, how we survived that, I have no idea. But again,
it just goes to show you what a bit of loyalty can do in football, and it kind of
they've
reflects
had so much bad luck as well.
And it kind of reflects the situation with what happened with Husenhut at Southampton. He was off the back of a 9-0 battering, and people were saying, "Oh, he's got to be sacked." And how's he not been sacked? And then he's went on to do wonders. Brian Rice, I don't think he's going to replicate the heights of the Southampton side, but it looks as though he's
10th. That's heights for Ackies.
But as I was about to say, he's very well looking like he'll keep this team up again this season. So, fair play, a little bit of loyalty goes a long way, and it was great to see that result come through. And Motherwell on the other side,
there's a whole conversation on them.
I think they could go down.
Well, that's what I was going to come to.
I didn't want to go bold claim because I don't think it's that bold.
They could go down.
I think they could go down.
I feel for Keith Lasley a little bit because I think he was obviously favourite to take over from Robinson, but that result is not going to help him at all. I think
that's just destroyed it completely. The all hope of it. Because I still have a feeling that
if Tommy Wright is available, they'll take him.
Yeah, I think Tommy Wright would be a daft option to knock back.
Yeah.
But I think that if it came to the point where if they're seriously considering Keith for the job, saying Keith as if I know him. If they're seriously considering Lasley for the job, I think they can look past this game. I know it's an embarrassing result, and especially because it's their local rival.
Can the fans look past that game though?
Nah, that's the question. But look, they're just off the back of losing Robinson. It's going to be a massive shift in that camp, and I think that the fact that they've lost in their opening game with a new manager and a new regime after being so long with Robinson I think they can look beyond that. I don't know from a Motherwell's point of view if you can, but I think I would. But if Tommy Wright is there, it's got to be Tommy Wright.
Yeah, I know. The bizarre thing is, I mean, Lasley, I said it with the John Kennedy thing when he was rumoured to take over from Lennon. If he worked that closely with Robinson, is he not part of the problem? Because he obviously played a prominent role. And sometimes you just need a fresh face, fresh ideas. That makes a world of difference, especially for teams like Motherwell. We know they've got good enough players to stay up. Yep. Maybe a fresh face, new ideas. Tommy Wright tighten them up. I mean, if Tommy Wright goes there, they're guaranteed not to go down. So, I mean, there's that aspect for the Motherwell board. They will not get relegated if they get Tommy Wright in. They just won't. They won't. So, it's going to be interesting to see who they go for. But Brian Rice, I mean, amazing. Ross Callaghan is like the man in form in the country just now. Goals, and assist at the weekend, man of the match. 3-0 to Hamilton. Is it when do you what? Bizarre.
No,
fair play to them.
The McCarthy.
But now I'm looking at the league table here. I just said St Johnstone might finish league table. There are, I mean, 7 from 7th down could all get relegated.
Yep, it's madness how tight it is in the top division.
But then I'm saying that if Dun United lose 2 games in the bounce, everyone else below them's got a game in hand. They're all of a sudden in that race. It's so mental how tight that is.
How lovely is Scottish football?
We said at the start of the season the top 5 were safe. We said United would be up there with Aberdeen and Hibs, and 6 downwards could get relegated. Livy have probably escaped that now, but wow.
6 downwards sounds like you were talking about a wee crossword there. 6 downwards, who's that? Aberdeen 0, Dundee United 0. What is there to say? I hate it when you get these 0-0 games. But
decent result for Dundee United.
Dundee United were laughing with that. They would have been biting the hand off.
Aberdeen fans are increasingly frustrated with Derek McInnes, but he's going nowhere.
No, it doesn't look as though he will go nowhere if he's went nowhere over the past.
In third place. I mean, how could you realistically sack a manager?
I don't feel like they should, and I can understand why maybe dry football or whatever can get you.
He's been there for so long.
Can get you annoyed. But look, you're third the table. What else you expected, man?
Yeah, there's Aberdeen fans who've got that mindset, and others who think that they just want freshness, they want exciting football.
And I think I do understand that. I really do.
They started the season playing some really nice stuff. I watched them a few times.
Yeah,
I was quite impressed.
We were talking about how
Scott Wright, Ryan Hedges looked really good. Cosgrove being out, I think, helped their style of play a little bit. And since he's come back in, they're not. I mean, Curtis Main's not much of a footballer, to be honest.
Because obviously Curtis Main did start at the weekend. Cosgrove came on to the game, but it never changed anything. And if anything, I think you're spot on with what you're saying there. I do agree. I think bringing Sam Cosgrove onto the game doesn't make as positive a change as what someone else could bring into the game.
I mean, he's a goal scorer, there's no doubt about that. But in terms of playing nice football, which I think Aberdeen
adding
fans
a bit
are
of
craving,
flair to the game, you're not getting it.
It's not happening.
And finally, Kilmarnock won, St Mirren won.
2 teams who could also get relegated this year.
90th minute.
Danny Rogers' own goal.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I thought Kelly were going to get the result. They started really well in that game. I was just checking Twitter, checking comments coming through from Kelly fans. They were pretty happy, looked like they were going to get the result, and that's just a killer blow for Alex Dyer. They are in a bit of trouble as well.
They are.
As are St Mirren. I mean, St Mirren have got the luxury of having games in hand, but I don't know if it's been concluded, the decision on the suspended games.
No, they've kind of upheld it.
So it's been appealed, I think. So I think they could still have the games in hand taken away. But if they don't, they're in a much better position. It's a tough one. Their recent form, they don't deserve to be in that position because they've actually been playing really, really well. St Mirren, good results recently. Yep. But again, one of those teams who could be in trouble. And
that brings us on to the conversation we're going to have, because that's the Premiership wrapped up from the weekend prior. So Dubai, but you speak first, son, because I have spoke.
I want to get a couple of things up first.
I have spoke very openly about it, and as I've said, I'll quickly say before you go on to speak. I feel it's the biggest slap in the face I've ever had in my life. So
it's not just a slap in the face to you. I think it's a slap in the face to
the country.
Yeah. I know that Celtic have come out and said that they ran it by the SFA and they ran it by the
Scottish Government.
Yeah, right. That's fine, but that will have been. So if St Mirren are getting all these fines and stuff for taking the same cars to training, how can these boys take the same plane to Dubai, go to a foreign country, have a pint beside the pool?
Then I guess in terms of take away the pint beside the pool part, I guess the only sort of logical rebuttal I could have about getting the plane together is the fact that they've had to do it 3 times already, or more than that, had to do it for 5 or 6 times.
So then surely we should be minimising the risk. But that was essential travel because it was for a game.
I know,
So,
but then again,
training's class is essential.
This is me playing devil's advocate because I'm on your side of this. But then again, what the outlines were for elite sport with stuff like this is essential travel, these trips to Dubai. Of course, the pictures show that.
Well, where does it say a trip to Dubai is essential travel?
But it's part of the. It's part of the.
But it's not essential that you train in Dubai.
I'm just.
Okay, yeah, I get that point. I get that point, and that is probably their loophole. But Nicola Sturgeon said yesterday.
She's seen the photos.
Yeah.
She's seen Big Duffy.
So the photos of what's killed them, because the photos clearly show Scott Brown and Neil Lennon breaking their bubble.
Yep.
They should be at all times when they're not training or competing in matches. It should be distancing. They weren't doing that. If you're not training, and this is the thing that, as much as we've been frustrated all year about not getting fans in stadium stuff, we keep losing track of the fact that football's getting given, as all elite sport, a special dispensation. Players are allowed to mix, like we aren't. So it's just taking advantage of that, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. From a Celtic fan's point of view, what the fuck are they doing in Dubai? You see that clip that's going around from Clyde Super Scoreboard last night, the guys talking about there's a team in Glasgow training set pieces and fitness and all the rest of it, and a team doing braids at the side of a pool in Dubai. He's absolutely spot on. Like, Rangers are top of the league by 19 points, and they'll be training this week at home, putting the hard yards in to make sure they're ready to go again at the weekend to get another 3 points. Celtic are away having a pint beside a pool. What is that all about? I mean, that's just shocking.
Honestly, you don't need to drive into me.
Why was that trip not cancelled at full time? Why did it? Right, we're not going.
We're not going.
The first thing any self-respecting manager would have done is cancel that trip. We don't deserve to.
No, you know, Dermot.
He's desperate.
You know what Dermot Desmond's like. He wants his money worth. He's not wasting any pennies.
He probably didn't have a cancellation clause. So.
Yeah, well, he wasn't paying the cancellation fee. But look, a lot of people bringing up the point that they've done it, and I seen there was a former player saying they're no robots. You should be allowed to enjoy it. Okay, fair enough. Blah blah. People say
no, they shouldn't be allowed to enjoy themselves. Not when they're playing like that.
Give me a minute. I'm finish my point.
That's my head in.
Let me finish my point. It's the exact same as what you're saying here. So you've got them saying that. I can't remember which former player it was now, but it was him. Fair enough. He says
probably
that.
John Hartson.
Okay, move away. It's not Hartson. Moves away. Does that right? Okay, then you get the dads like, oh no, they've got to just be constantly blah blah blah. Last season, you won them more than last season when it was like we won them more than last season because we were only 19 points behind, man. Listen to yourselves for a moment, you know. You
hear it on every former footballers who talk about when they've had Christmas dues arranged, they get cancelled after a bad result. This isn't a bad result. This is a bad 3 months.
This isn't a bad 3 months. This is I'm trying to think. This is a gargantuan falling of standards that has been going on for the course of Celtic in the past 18 months. This isn't just a bad 3 months. This is everything culminating that we've been worried and warned about since the moment that Brendan Rodgers left Celtic Football Club. This is just coming to its this is the monster's head starting to appear.
And this idea that they need relaxation time. What from? They're clearly not training hard enough. That's been as clear as day for months. Players are just not fit enough. You know, and if you want to give them a wee night, set them up at Celtic Park, give them a few beers, let them have a beer. Fine, okay, whatever. Yes, they're doing a little bit of downtime, especially with all the pressure.
I know what happened. I thought they had this wee lounge area set up.
I know what happened to that. And also, this team bonding argument. It's the core of the same squad that have been together for about 5 years. They all know each other. It's not like you've got to embed new players into the squad. I mean, Barkas doesn't look like he's ever spoke to anyone before. But it's just, none of it makes any sense. And it's just humiliating, and it's a further example of an absolute shambles that Celtic are just now on and off the pitch.
You just have to rub it in, don't you?
And that's the most frustrating thing is, right? See, after they did so well on Saturday, why aren't they in on Monday morning reinforcing reinforcing everything they did on Saturday? The same again next week. Because there's been improvement, I think, when I've watched them recently.
There has been.
Especially the games against
Dundee United, especially, was after
Dundee United at home.
The Dundee United game this season was
so
the first game this season I have seen 90 minutes of a good performance. Not 45, 90.
And what it was the pressing that I was impressed with when I've seen them play. Granted, they haven't been able to keep it up for 90 minutes because they're not fit enough yet, but they'll get there. They keep instilling that message. And if Lennon's going to be the guy going forward, which, to be honest, it looks like he probably is going to be, then he's going to start putting across a plan to win next season's league title, because this one's gone. And that should start now.
It just baffles me, you know. It just makes me wonder, what is the point?
If Eddie Howe didn't turn in the job, then why hasn't he the Celtic manager? It's just bizarre.
Money, money, money. Right, okay, Scottish Championship. We'll move on to
Do you think Eddie Howe would have been on more at Bournemouth than Lennon as at Celtic? Because I don't think so.
No, I don't think it would have been.
No, so I don't get the money.
Well, you just know he doesn't want to have to go and shell out more money, because that's the reality. The reality is Eddie Howe now can hold out and get a Premier League job for probably double what the Celtic.
The Celtic are going to be so lucky that they may have a window in the Champions League by finishing second. Yep. May. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's confirmed yet, but even then, they're not going to get to the Champions League. Not without serious improvement.
No, exactly. And not without a managerial change and a new CEO. I want everything to change. I want fucking war, David.
Brendan Rodgers back.
And I want a bag of cans.
Cans.
Right, okay, Championship. We'll actually move on to there now, which was a weekend that, of course, over the lower leagues, as we've already touched on, there wasn't a lot of football being played this weekend.
Woke up, knew it was a pitch inspection Saturday morning, when the chip game was off. I was like, oh no, I didn't get to go to the game, so that's upsetting.
Well, at least you got to watch the new derby.
Yeah, it was great fun. I enjoyed that immensely. I barely woke up in time for that, actually.
Right, we'll start with the big result of the Championship. That's Dundee 3, Hearts 1.
No, it's not. Well, maybe it is, but I think the big result's Queen of the South.
Yeah, well, that's big.
What are they up to?
We'll start with Dundee and Hearts. We've gone there.
Oh, can we start with Robbie Nielsen, the greeting-faced bugger? You heard his post-match. His post-match on Saturday. He came out, he's slagging off Don Robertson, the ref. He said, "We've lost twice this season. Don Robertson was the ref both times." You lost twice this season because you were pish both times, Robbie. It's not Don Robertson's fault. And also, that comment pissed me off, because when they came to Dunfermline, there wasn't one controversial decision that whole game.
Aye.
What the fuck is he moaning about? He's a moaning bugger, Robbie Nielsen.
Like Robbie Nielsen.
He pissed me off when he tried to tap up Nisbet last year, and then Nisbet gave him the V's and went to Hibs, which was pleasing. But just bizarre what he's moaning about. Dundee, yet again, have continued a recent revival, and Hearts, I've said it, Hearts will get beat in one-off games this season. The reason they win the league is because they'll go on winning streaks.
So they won 5 games in a row before this.
Yeah, I think now Dunfermline are the only team left. Or Dunfermline and Wraith are the only teams that have only lost 1 game. Hearts have lost 2. But we are the draw merchants, of course. But Hearts are still going to win the league. It's annoying for me, because Dundee are going to be our biggest.
I said that last week, and you were pretty far against it. I'm going to ask you again. Do you think there's any chance of James McPake proving your ban by the end?
No, because he's just. But he should be. The fact that it's taken them this long to get up to challenge. We're in January and they're finally looking like a decent team. He's been there for over.
Well, to be fair, the season didn't start till later this year.
Okay, fair enough. But last season they were shit for like the majority of the season.
Shows you what Charlie Adam can do, though.
Oh, he's amazing.
He is a brilliant player.
Fair play to him. Osman So's turned into prime Ronaldo too. I don't know what that's all about.
They were ranting and raving about him on the BBC Scotland the other night.
And he was. But when he was at Hearts first time around, he was really good, and he was pretty hopeless at Dundee United. Pretty hopeless at Dundee up until the last few weeks, but fair play to him.
Right, okay, Queen of the South. You touch on us for it. You kind of.
Mate, I want George Galloway to come to East End Park, because they've not lost. They've won every game since he was there. They got beat on the game he was at. Fair enough, but they've won the 2 since. Viva George Galloway, mate.
Alright.
No, I'm joking. What are Queen of the South up to? That's 2 promotion playoff pushing teams. Ayr United and Wraith have beaten in a week. Wow. 91st minute winner. Connor Shields.
Aye, it's a turnaround for them, and it's
they're still going down though. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Still think they're going down?
Yeah.
Okay. I would agree with you, but it is one of those ones. 2 wins and a bounce. Those sorts of they kind of blips in victory will be the things that kind of differentiate them from Alloa and Abrovin. They said it last week, and
very, very pleasing that Mark Kerr played at the weekend.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he played for the first time this season, and he gave away a penalty in the first half, which I thought was very, very pleasing.
I wonder how you deal with that.
I don't know. I say pleasing. I like Mark Kerr, so that's a bit harsh. But it's quite funny that the manager comes on and
how do you deal with that in the change?
Is the assistant just giving him pelters?
How's that be dealt with? And then finally, not much to write home about. Alloa won, Morton won. It was saved to late on for the goals, but it was
Morton haven't lost again.
It's a result that doesn't do much for either of them.
Well, it's another point for Alloa.
I suppose. I suppose. But it's just it's just a
Morton didn't lose.
4-0 game.
They're still looking okay. No, well, yeah, maybe.
Right, well, League One anyway. We'll head over there, and once again, oh, the camera's off. Just keep laughing, Dave. You just keep doing that. There we go.
East 5-2. East 5-2. Falkirk 1. Pleasing. I don't need Fife fan messages this week.
I seen that.
And he wanted me to bring that up, as if I wouldn't bring it up anyway. There it is, mate.
It's a funny old game, isn't it?
Falkirk fans want Miller and McCracken gone.
Do they?
Yes, and loads of them do, and they're top of the league.
I don't keep up to date with the wants and needs of the Falkirk fans.
See if anyone wants a good laugh, right? Keep up to date with Morton, Falkirk, Partick Thistle, and who's the other team? Keep up with those 3. It's just constant laughs, man.
Is it?
Oh, they're just hilarious. The clubs are just a mess. And the fans are always raging.
I do need positivity amongst my Twitter feed.
I'm so glad it's not Dunfermline just now, because it's grim.
And it's a big change, because last year there was a lot of people who wanted Crawford out, and on your side of things.
Not me, mate.
Not you, of course, because you were in about him.
I wish.
But you know what I mean. There was a lot of people there, so it must be nice to see.
I'm talking. This is Thistle, Falkirk, and Morton have been good few years now. Been banter clubs. It's just superb. But I want the manager gone top of the league is an interesting. Manager has gone top of the league is an interesting place to find yourself, but again they'll probably still win the league. But you've touted Cove to win the league a couple of times, and they're now looking very, very good for it.
Yeah, I was telling you, I'll tell you for the start. I said that Cove could very well go in and do it.
Who else is looking good to win the league this year?
Yeah.
You got a game in hand. Airdrie.
Airdrie.
Yeah.
Nah, they can still go down. But Partick didn't obviously play this weekend, so they are kind of slipped down a little bit. But on terms of East Fife, go and talk about them. It's a really good result, because it's been a very mix and match season for them.
Listen, they're going to get the playoffs this year, I think.
Do you think so?
Yeah, they've got games in hand. They're always there about. Darren Young's a good young manager. Darren Young's a good young manager. Good one. And yeah, but it's the thing about League One is that so many could do so many things. Like, so many could go down and go up. It's really weird, that league. We've seen it in recent years where Brecon came up through the playoffs.
Yep.
But I think if you'd told people at the start of that season they were going to get relegated, they probably wouldn't have batted an eyelid. It's just mad the way League One can be.
It's like when somebody says Airdrie could get relegated, it could very well happen.
And that's the thing, the difference between like a Cove and an Alloa is not that big. So in a one-off playoff game, who knows what could happen. But
so you kind of touched on Cove being a potential challenger for that title now, and of course I've been saying
I don't think they will do it.
Season.
But
they got a win, a 1-0 win over Peterhead. Cy Ferry.
Was Cy playing?
Cy got sent off.
Did he? What's he up to?
Cy got sent off.
He was definitely hanging out his ass from the year, wasn't he? Without a doubt, by the
way. He was off 20 minutes into the game, so it's a good laugh there. But Cove, Rory McAllister got the goal early. They got the job done, and all they had to do was sit and wait for the final whistle to go. So fair play, Cove.
Yeah, bit of a slip up from Montrose against Forfar, obviously bottom of the league. Montrose up in the playoff positions. A win would have been huge. They could have gone top with a win. Well, no, could have gone a point off the top with a win.
Huge.
So it could have been huge for them. A team who I would love to see go up this year.
Would you?
Yeah, Stuart Peachtree, Dunfermline legend, managers there.
There was only one game in League 2, wasn't
there was two. Steny and Stirling Albion went ahead. There was a really nasty head knock. I can't remember who it was for. There was a really nasty head knock, and the guy got taken to hospital. All the rest. I think he's fine. He just got a concussion. I think he's okay. But in the time there was that period, the ref looked at the pitch and said, "Nah, bugger this. I'm going home to put the jammies on, get a hot chocolate, and sit in front of the fire." Well, it's a bit late in the day for that, is it not?
Not Home Alone.
Aye.
But do you have to watch that in the morning?
No, it's Christmas time, is it not?
You said late in the day.
I use it as a figure of speech. Like, we're just...
Sorry, I think you meant actually like time of day. I was like, is there a specific
specific
hour you have to watch? And then the other game was at Stranraer Annan. Was the other game that was played. 2-0 to Stranraer.
Yeah.
I mean,
that'll do us. Yeah, right.
That'll do.
Where are we going next? We haven't got much of a script for this.
I know it's not much. It's a new year. It's the first time of.
Should we talk transfers?
Oh, talk transfers.
Let's talk Eamon Brophy.
Eamon Brophy.
Did you have a song about him after last season?
No.
He's a Celtic fan, I think.
He's a big Celtic man. Big Celtic man.
I remember after I did the Kelly Rangers game last year, he was up for the post match and he was getting asked about if he was getting texts off his mates, and he was just pissed himself basically because he knew Fenway had cost Rangers the title.
But away
St Mirren, wow. Beat Aberdeen and Hibs to his signature.
Look, I am going to be bluntly honest about it. I have seen so many people ranting and raving about this. I think it's alright. I don't think he's.
I think that's a great move for St Mirren.
I think
Aberdeen Hibs wanted him.
The major positive for me in this move for Eamon Brophy is the fact that St Mirren are a club who try and play football.
Perfect point.
Over the past couple of years.
He wouldn't suit Aberdeen.
He's been starved at Kelly, I think, of being the player he can be, and that's been seen in how often he's picked in the starting 11.
Yeah.
So people are ranting. So I've seen people ranting and raving about how good a move it is, and I've been sitting there like, well, it's not really, because he's not done much over the last couple of seasons.
But I think that's why it's a good move.
But that's
for him.
You know, he'll go to St Mirren and he will.
People are going, why has he picked St Mirren over Hibs and Aberdeen? Well, first of all,
he's not going to get in the Hibs team.
He's not going to get in the Hibs team, and secondly, it doesn't suit Aberdeen's style of play, and I'm not convinced he would get in their team anyway because it's just not a McInnes type of player. 3-year deal as well, so I mean it's security for him for the next 3 years, which in this time players at that level will take. And yeah, as you said, St Mirren I think is trying to play some decent stuff, and he'll score goals for them. I think big signing for them, and if they want to continue to push to be a top 6 club, players like that are going to help propel them that way.
Very well put, very nicely, apt. That
just let's go through a wee bit of gossip.
Wait, I go and check my phone. Right, on you go.
So according to the record, Declan Gallagher's hoping to sign for Celtic this month.
It's just a lovely. It just sums up everything. Just sums up absolutely everything.
Would you take Declan Gallagher? Be good for Europe.
I'd take him if fucking Shane Duffy. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Yeah. But would he have similar issues to what Shane Duffy has? In terms of playing high, getting spun in behind, not used to playing in the halfway line.
Look, if Steve Clark comes in the summer, then he'd work a charm. Have you heard that though? Have you heard the kind of the
Steve Clark's not going to
the rumour that I do not believe anything in, but have you heard the logic that apparently we're not appointing a manager because we're waiting till after the Euros to get
Steve Clark's not going to Celtic.
I don't think he'll go, but it's just it's there.
Say we go and get like the last 16 in the Euros. You think he's leaving ahead of a World Cup?
No, not a chance. Not a chance in hell. I'm not part of it. I'm not on the bandwagon of it happening. But Declan Gallagher to Celtic, like, he's no. It's just let Mackenzie slip away.
Another 6 appearances triggers his 1-year contract extension, so he wants to go before that, I think.
Really?
So I mean, I don't know. He doesn't strike me as the type that would down tools at Motherwell to get the move, but. Again,
he's not a Celtic calibre player.
No, well,
he's not. He's not.
No, but
I like him. I think he's good. I think he's good at the level he plays.
Well, young.
He's not even young. He's what, 26, 27.
He's not in his prime yet. I wouldn't say.
Just
a few years he left.
Just for me, it's not a move. And
I've given him the Jesse Lingard treatment there by calling him young.
I think there's a lot of people who.
No, it's not a good move for Celtic.
No, it's not a good move
for him. Amazing move. No wonder he wants it.
I think there's a lot of people in the older support who'd want him.
I think that. It strikes me as the sort of thing Neil Lennon would do.
Yep.
We're not defending well, let's go and get a guy who's a decent defender. Yeah, it's not that simple, Neil. He's a decent defender at what he does.
Yep.
If you're going to sit 20 yards deeper, he'll do you a really good job, but you're not going to do that.
Next runner?
Well. I mean, I haven't talked about Desmond back in Lennon yet, really.
Oh. There you go.
I don't really want to either. So according to the record, Motherwell are going to interview Tommy Wright, Keith Lasley, and Graham Alexander is also in the frame, having left Salford City earlier in the season, or was it last season?
I think it was last season.
Just got to be Tommy Wright, isn't it?
That's got to be Tommy.
I would be amazed if they didn't make a move for him.
It would be scandalous, considering he's there. He knows the league. He knows the opposition, of course. It'd be a fantastic appointment. Also,
Rangers are apparently looking to send out Edmondson and Jones on loan. That wouldn't really be surprised if both of them left. They're not getting a sniff in.
I think that loan will turn into future departures and a permanent
for Jones. For Jones, definitely. But Edmondson, Did okay at points last season, but he seems like a bit of a...
No man with the nickname of a fridge should have a career in the Premiership.
Yeah. Anyway, there's one more thing I want to talk about. This just comes to my head because I tweeted about it last night and I had a few people coming back at me going, what are you on about? Stuart Armstrong's amazing, isn't he?
What a player.
So good last night. I watched that game last night and he was brilliant.
I think in my darkest moments of life, at the height of my sadness, which is every night, I'm going to put out an advert for a lady friend, please. I'm joking, but his face.
She was any watching this.
What?
I don't know how many females watch this.
Nah, probably none.
But my gran.
Show it out to somebody. Lovely woman. But at the height of my sadness, I often think back to the height of Celtic at their best.
What great hair, by the way.
Things
I'd do for Stuart Armstrong.
2017-18 Celtic. Stuart Armstrong is absolute best. But that team altogether, but Armstrong,
So I just watched him last night, right? He does everything for Southampton. I mean, he was running, he was tackling, he was pressing, he had a bit of quality. Amount of times he got to the ball, made the right pass. How he doesn't play for Scotland baffles me. I've said it to you so many times. Stuart Armstrong's better than Callum McGregor. You're not going to agree with that, but the fact that you don't agree with that,
no. I think technically,
so many won't agree with that, and I think it's wrong.
I think there's a very hard comparison to make between the two of them.
I don't think Callum McGregor would be doing as well down south.
I think that I don't know. I think he'd be perfect, Callum McGregor down south. But
Callum McGregor's been pish for 3 months now. I know he was good at the weekend, but he's been hopeless.
Right, you take Callum McGregor out of a struggling Celtic side and you put him in, say, a Brendan Rodgers Leicester side, and he'd be flying, and you know that.
Maybe. But but that's the whole point. That's the whole point. He's not. Stuart Armstrong is.
But what I'm going to say is technically Armstrong is a superior player. I think that.
And I used to think that as well. But what I watched from last night was not just the technical stuff. People have always said to me, you can't play Armstrong when McGregor plays for Scotland because McGregor does a lot more defensive work. Like, see, the majority of what Armstrong did last night was running around, tackling, winning the ball back, everything that we would love in a Scotland midfield. And also he's got that thing where he picks up the ball, can drive 30 yards with it, get a shot off, score a goal. I just think he's brilliant. It doesn't necessarily have to be for McGregor, but I think in terms of how we've set up recently,
it highlights the real quality that Scotland have in the middle of the park. Armstrong, McGregor.
I think you should play both of them in Scotland's best team, but the shape we're playing just now doesn't really
allow that.
You can play. I mean, Armstrong's playing wide for Southampton just now. You can play him not as a wing back Armstrong, but in like a 4 at the back, you can play him wide. I just think he's brilliant.
Anyway, it brings us on to the Instagram questions. We've touched on a lot, but talking about just while you look for the questions. Another man that deserves praise for how he's playing down in England at the minute is John McGinn. A fantastic performance against Manchester United. A lot of people bringing up the point that they think McGinn is a better player than Paul Pogba. That was a big conversation at the weekend. Look, I've always said John McGinn outside of Celtic is probably my favourite player in world football.
Best football in the world, mate.
So I will continuously rant rave about him.
Right, we've got loads of questions on Twitter first. There was one I loved from Matthew at TSF's class. He said, kiss, marry, kill, Gavin Strachan, Cam Cowan, Gordon Soares.
Well, right away, you've got to marry Tam. You couldn't live your life with Gordon Sawyers.
Well, hold on, they're telling me you're going to either be kissing Gordon Sawyers or Gavin Strachan.
So let a kiss. I will be kissing Gordon Sawyers.
Raging!
Clip that. And Gavin Strachan will be...
You're killing him.
He will be...
He'd nicked his laptop for and punting it for a few quid.
He will be chemically castrated.
Gavin Strachan was in fitting these two bad boys before we started. Chemically castrated.
That's how the place fucking smells, isn't it?
I don't know. That's a really, really great question.
Motherwell have had that.
I'm probably...
Motherwell said that.
Oh, have they?
We'll fix that after this.
It's very fitting for the state that they're in just now on the pitch. Oh my god, that's a cracking question. Yeah, you kind of have to marry Tam, wouldn't you? But... Oh Christ almighty.
Go on, choose. You know what
I'm have to agree with you, I think.
You're agreeing with me?
You can't kiss Gavin Strachan.
No, you cannot. You're walking away with something there. Right, next question.
Where else? Right, he also asks, answer all these questions with one word. I like the concept of this question, right? Will Dundee United finish top 6? Will Dunfermline be promoted? Will Motherwell be relegated? One word answer.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
So Dundee United will finish top. What was the second one?
Dunfermline promoted, Motherwell relegated. Answer them all one question.
Yes.
One word.
No.
No. I think. You answer all the questions with one word. So you're saying yes to all three things.
Oh, right.
I think that's the whole point.
Can I just use the word possibly? Because that's...
Yeah, I suppose you could. So I think that's what he means.
Aye. Well, I thought it would be like a yes or no for each one.
Oh, maybe it is then. I just assumed that he was trying to be clever.
That makes so much more sense.
Okay, fair enough. I know, but I thought the whole point was it was quite difficult. Right, on you go then. Done yet top 6? Yes, or no?
Yes and no.
Okay, yes.
It's a big one there.
Yes.
Oh,
no, sorry. This is me repeating my first yes.
Oh, is it?
Yes, no.
You don't think the powers will go up? It's nice to stay grounded.
I'm still the CEO of the party bus, but it's taken a wee bit of a detour in the last couple of weeks. Although we're still in second, comfortably. How, I don't know, because we've been pretty long for weeks. We've got really tough games coming up, man. We've got Hearts, Wraith, Morton and Ayr to come up in the next couple of weeks.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Aaron Smith asks if Motherwell don't act fast and get a manager, is there a chance he can go from Europa League to relegation in a season?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that if they don't make the right appointment, I think if it's not Tommy Wright, they could go down.
Declan Cairns asks a brilliant question, and I want your thoughts on this. Who can make the biggest cannonball splash in the pool, Lennon or Duffy? Right, here's my logic, right? In terms of I don't know if Lennon can get himself in nice and tight for a proper cannonball. Right. I think he'd be a bit.
Do you think Duffy can?
Oh, he's an athlete. He's got to be able to.
He's an athlete.
Well, yes, but technical description of the word. I don't know. I mean,
if he's an athlete, I'm a fucking supermodel.
Yeah, I mean Duffy's a big boy, isn't he? But Lennon's quite short, and I don't know if he can get himself in tight enough to make a big. I don't know. Well, I mean,
very technical, you're doing.
It's important to say.
I would reckon my money would be on Lenny.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Duffy. Duffy's gonna win something eventually, isn't he? Poor fella. An
egg cup.
David 72 David asks, will Rangers widen the gap to more than 19 points between now and the end of the season? Will the gap be bigger at the end of the season?
It depends when other games in hand have to be played. I think that
who other games now against St Mirren and Aberdeen? Is it
3 games?
One of them's Aberdeen. I'm sure one of them's St Mirren.
Never one's Kelly or something.
Don't know.
I think they could. There's never out of question. But
that's relying on Celtic not winning any of the games. Yeah. And then no, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I hope not.
Gemma asks, does Laxalt why can't I speak today? Does Laxalt need armbands in the pool?
Yep, absolutely. I think that you know.
No, I disagree. I think he's been one of them freaks that's really good at swimming. You had them in school. They would do weird
That's more like. I think if anybody was to be the good swimmer of the team, it's got to be.
Laxalt is a butterfly. That's
Ayr looks like he's a Baywatch. So
I just think Laxalt one of them freaks.
No, Laxalt doesn't draw the line at the armbands. He has the ring. He has the goggles. He has everything.
Kobe Henderson asks,
"Oh, Kobe,
could Lewis Ferguson be the next Scottish icon?"
Big Aberdeen man.
I don't know what he means by that.
Well, the next. Are
we talking John McGinn levels of icon?
Yeah, probably.
No, he's not a good player. John McGinn. Oh, I don't know, man. He's good. He is very good.
You're back to that now. I simply
very good, Lewis Ferguson.
I simply don't think he will be.
I think he could be.
I don't think he'll be as good as his uncle.
Well, here's the no. He'll never be as good as his uncle. He's not going to be as good. No chance. But I think he could be. I think he's going to be. If he keeps, he'll be a lot better than Ryan Jack. See, if you're using that as a comparison, I think he's already almost as good as Ryan Jack.
Okay, right, but then again, Ryan Jack is not a Scottish icon.
No, but he's playing every game for Scotland just now. So Lewis Ferguson can get to that level, and then he's still very, very young. I just think the right move next.
No, potentially. I just don't think he'll ever be the man who's right behind us in the wall. You know, you look at the Scottish icons right now in this generation of this team. It's McGinn and Robertson, and probably Tierney as well.
London Dykes, mate.
He's never going to be.
David Marshall's the icon. What are you talking about?
He's never going to be the level of those players.
Speaking of Andrew Robertson asks, can Livy usurp Hibs for top 4? I think I can hint at that earlier.
You know, greeting after his loss last night.
He was good last night. One of the very few who was.
What was the question again? Sorry.
Can Livy beat Hibs to the top 4? Yes. As I say all the time, when you ask these questions, of course they can.
It's will they?
Come on, people.
Will they beat them to the top 4? No. Can they? Yes.
Yeah, I agree with both of the above. I'm going to jump over to Instagram really quickly.
I hope we've got. I see Celtic are asking for questions for Sorrow. Just try to.
That is, by the way, fair play to the social media team. Superb stuff. If we had to get one player to please the fans, it would be him or Davy Turnbull.
David Turnbull. He lights up the room like nobody.
Somebody. I think this is it's Speedy asks. I think it's a basketball question.
A basketball question.
Is Harden staying or leaving? He's a basketball player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's staying. But I mean, I don't see what relevance it has to the show. He's staying.
Could Rangers go invincible this season? We've not even talked about that yet.
I spoke about it in my video today.
Wow,
I spoke about it.
Yes, they absolutely could.
Could they?
Of course they could.
But will they?
Will they? It's a great question.
No, they won't.
I don't think they'll lose an Old Firm game this season.
I think they will.
Because that's the worst
they've played. I think they will lose a derby game this season.
Okay. Will Rangers go invincible this season?
You
know what? No. they won't. They'll come very close. They'll lose no more than 2 games.
It's the same with Celtic. Celtic, we had this conversation. It was impossible for us to do. You have to wait till you get proper down the line. You've got the big games at the road.
Going to the end of the line. Right. Your mate Staunch55 asks, is Shane Duffy the worst centre half in Scotland? Yes. 1872.
Send them back to Brighton on the first plane possible.
1872 Jordan also asked about the unbeaten thing. We covered that.
They're believing, aren't they? They are believing.
Aldo McNaught, who we know is a Rangers fan, regular at the show, thought Celtic were better for the first 60 minutes. Yeah, and he also, do Celtic still have a chance? No, they don't. Mate. I'm sorry, they really don't.
Well, they do have a chance.
No, they don't.
But will they? No.
How many Celtic first team players would get into the Rangers first team?
At
this moment in time, right now.
Right now,
I don't want to know who. Just give me a number.
Oh, well, I was going. It would be easier if I named them. To be honest, it's not a 0.
Who gets into it?
Christopher Ayr gets in.
Over the Rangers defence, it's been absolutely amazing this season.
Christopher Ayr gets in.
Wow. Because so a guy who's played in a dreadful defensive season into an unbelievable defensive season. That's a mad thing to say.
Ayr has been a standout player. And
what is Celtic's worst attribute of the team been this season? The defence.
The manager.
And you're probably picking the defenders. And also, Ayer's probably played the most games of any of the defenders in that shit defence. And you're uncertain the Rangers defence that's been unbelievable this season.
Do you know what, I'll just give you the number then.
Okay.
The number that I believe that would be 4.
How are you getting 4 Celtic players in that team? I want to know who they are now.
No.
You've shot it. What? Let me guess, you're putting Soro and Turnbull in.
No.
You're probably putting Turnbull in,
Yes. I'm putting. No, I don't even know, man. I don't want to say 0, David. I can't after what I said at the start of the season. You know, I've got to be. Eduard gets in.
Wow.
What you saying he doesn't?
He's been pish for so long now. We're talking right now. Right now. We're picking a team tomorrow.
If I was picking a team tomorrow, that's a completely different conversation. Dear.
I don't know. I mean, on form right now, picking a team tomorrow is 0 for me. But if you were to balance it out and look at a more balanced view of the players and their ability, it's a few more than that.
Have you got like proper form in all the players?
No, not even form, but just what we know the ability of each of the players. There's a few.
Yep.
But certainly more Rangers players.
Oh, current form is absolutely 0.
I'd love to do a video with that. I might do it without you because you're just tainted goods on these type of videos now. But
excuse me,
in terms of like if I had to balance it around to my opinions on each ability, I think there would be a few Celtic players, but there'd definitely be more Rangers players.
Okay.
So I think for me, balanced out opinion of a player over a good few years, what I've seen of him, Callum McGregor would get into a combined 11. But right now it doesn't.
Why don't we just sit down and appreciate we are so lucky to live in an era that has 2 great teams and just just appreciate that.
Where else? Will Celtic get cleared out top to bottom in the summer? Who do you think? I think with big departures this summer, who do you think will go?
I've said it for years.
I think Ayr, Edward and McGregor will all go in the summer.
Yep.
McGregor maybe not, but the other 2 definitely.
Yep. That's all I think about just now.
Viva James Forrest, by the way. Monday legend. Kirsten McCoy asks, realistic signings you think could benefit Celtic? Who
well, they're all fucking gone. Every one of them. Mackenzie's gone. Sorry, Samuel's gone.
Yeah.
We're going to end this window with fucking Declan Gallagher.
No, what are you going to end up with, right?
We're going to end up with Declan Gallagher and Robbie Keane.
No, and a striker from
Robbie Keane.
From the Belgian league that has got a really good record. And we think it's going to be amazing, and he scores 1 goal in a game where he comes in surprisingly.
Are you trying to talk about Patrick Klimala here?
No. Well, him and Bayo and Balde and Pookie and who else have they had? There's been a few other duds, is there not?
Oh, it's been plenty.
So there'll be a guy like
that. Stefan
Skepovic, of course. There'll be someone like that.
But I don't see us doing a lot of business.
I just maybe.
Will
anyone leave this summer? This January, will anyone leave?
No.
I'm trying to think for Rangers. Rangers don't need anyone in.
They won't do anything.
They might do some business ahead of. They might do some pre-contract stuff.
They might do some further planning.
They'll probably offload. the likes of, I can see Stewart leaving, Jones leaving.
I think they'll do some young work.
They've got so many good young players with this. Like Kai Kennedy, Stephen Kelly. They'll come into the Rangers squad next couple of years. I think good players. So they're in a really good place in that sense. But yeah.
Do you know what? It just gets depressing, man. Every single time we do one of these, I get closer to the edge.
I mean, I'm having fun.
Yeah, you are having fun. You get to
Scottish Cup this weekend.
Right.
Yeah, we'll do a show on Thursday, Friday.
I always love the opening weekend of the Scottish Cup.
Well, see, it's not my favourite weekend. My favourite weekend, because the Scottish Cup's a bit knackered this year.
Last year I won £400.
Normally, in terms of the layout, the Scottish Cup, this round would have happened in November, but because it's all been a bit knackered, so yeah, this time of year is normally good for the Scottish Cup, but there's no Prem teams in. I like it the first round the Prem teams come in. That's normally a great weekend. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is really shit because we've got Morton away on Saturday in the Cup, and then we've got Morton away next Friday night in the league.
Are you going to them?
I'm going to both, I think.
Both?
Well, I'm going to the Saturdays. I'm assuming I'll go to Fridays as well.
So I'm in here myself.
Yeah, Fridays is on the TV the week Friday, so
I'll look
it's just grim, man.
I'll look
Morton
at
away twice.
Capello's a nice place.
Yeah, maybe with some fans in it and nice sunny weather, but with shite, cold, rainy weather and no fans.
It's not the same,
and just
is it?
turgid performances probably in both games.
Right, well, I think we've covered all, haven't we? Not much else to add on to the show. It's been a good one though, I've enjoyed it, and it kind of hopefully will help everybody bear a little bit with the new lockdown restrictions.
Well, yeah, just can't be arsed, man.
Nah, not at all. It makes me sad. But aye, make sure to go and listen to the show, Spotify, Apple
Nicholas, that's a jacket! No, I'm sorry.
Wow, you've just destroyed the reputation of the show in one clip.
We did an actual video of me slagging her off.
That's
before.
right. So we did.
Yes, we did.
Thumbnail her on it.
I might need to do another one.
We Jimmy Cranky.
I don't want to start that patter, man.
I know, it's fucking woeful.
It is
right,
dreadful.
anyway, like, subscribe, comment, all the rest of it.
Or don't. If you don't want to.
Go and follow David on Twitter.
Or don't.
Follow me
if you don't want to.
on Twitter. But do that. And we'll be back on Thursday or Friday.
Maybe before then. Might do FM on Wednesday night.
Streaming could be
We'll do FM Wednesday night. Let's do FM Wednesday night. You're going to have to...
We'll build our hopes up now. We're not going to have to...
Yeah, that's going to make you feel a lot better if you beat me in that series, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I probably won't actually. Well, I won't
Nah,
but you know, it's always fun. People have enjoyed it and people keep asking for it, so we'll do it again.
Always in my comment section is spammed all the time. They want it back. They want to see me.
People have to know.
Right, like and subscribe.
What a shock of the outro.
Kino's just letting me wrap it up. No.
On you go.
Like and subscribe. See you all.
There's a joke in there about wrapping it up that I'm not going to make. See you later.